So in this video I'm going to show you how to insert grills to a ceiling grid in an LinkedIn architectural model. The first thing we want to do is open up a reflected ceiling plan, and as you can see the ceiling grid is displaying from the architectural model, which is LinkedIn. Now if we go up to Systems and Air Terminal and we choose the air terminal that you want, we'll just go with one of these, and up the top you've got placement, and you've got three options: place on a vertical face, which will attempt to place the grill on a wall, which is not ideal; place on face, or place on work plane. Now work plane I'll go over in a minute, but the one you want is place on face. Now as you can see, the ceiling grid has been detected and highlighted, and that grill now is aligned with that ceiling grid at the right elevation. So you just go and plonk it where you want it, and at this stage in future releases of Revit I believe they're going to add the ability to snap to the center of ceiling tiles, which will be a good addition. So you can move that to wherever you want. Once you've got that one in, you can either use the create similar to add more grills. Just make sure you choose place by face again and add the grills that you need. You can also use the basic copy command, and as long as you're still working in that same ceiling grid, these new grills will host to that ceiling grid as well. Now if we just draw a section through that room quickly, drag that down, open that, and we'll assign a view template to that. HVAC working. We can see that those grills we've entered are aligned with that ceiling grid perfectly. If you find that your grills look like that, there's a simple flip button that flips it either side of the work plane, so just align it the correct manner. You also notice that it's got a room calculation point, so that grill knows that it's within that room or space. So that's nice and quick and easy, and if the architect changes the elevation of that ceiling, those grills will automatically move with that ceiling change. And if we just move this section a bit further along, go create similar again, face, as you see it picks up all the different ceiling grids. I think this one's at a slightly different height, so if we reopen that section, you'll see that that one's picked up that different height. So if we move to this room here where there's no ceiling grid, what we can do there, if we just drag that, create another section in there, open that up. So if we open this section up, we can see that there's no ceiling in that room, and so what we would do there is draw a reference plane. You just draw a horizontal line anywhere in the room and we add a dimension. And we click on the reference plane and we can move that to a typical ceiling height. Now it's a good idea to name that reference plane. If you go over here into this box and we can say ground floor ceiling, and it's a good idea to put the height in there because you may have multiple reference planes at different heights. So if we now go back to the plan, we choose that same grill, create similar, and now we want to place on work plane. So if we select that one, and in this little box here we can choose that reference plane that we just created, ground floor ceiling 2700, and we can place those grills in there, and you'll see that this is hosted by the reference plane ground floor ceiling 2.7. If we go back to the section, and this is where you'll see that these grills are upside down, so we just flip those, and that's basically because these grills have been created to be inserted in a reflected ceiling plan, which is looking the opposite direction. But again, these are nicely aligned with that reference plane, and so if we need to, if the architect puts a ceiling in there and it's a different height to 2.7, we can just either grab that ground floor ceiling work plane and change it. And as you can see, the grills just follow wherever that work plane is. So if later in the project a ceiling is placed into that room, and I'll just quickly place one in there. I'll just quickly draw around here. Done. So we've now got a grid in there. If we go back to the section view, we'll see that there's a ceiling grid. Now you've got two options. We could rehost them. If we select the grill, we've got this option here, pick new work plane. And if you pick that, we've got those three options again, and we can say face, and it picks up that ceiling, and we can relocate them. And if there's only 3 or 4 grills like this, then that might be the best option. If you've got a lot of grills and you don't want to go through and rehost them all, what we can do is just align that work plane to the ceiling. So if we pick the underside of that ceiling, pick the work plane and constrain it. Now if the ceiling changes, the work plane goes with it, and so do the grills. So there are your two options there. Again, if the architectural model changes, you reload it, the ceilings change, the grills will stay with those ceilings. So as you can see, that's a really handy tool, and is the preferred method to adding grills to your project.